neglected for a long time. When I was in law school here, one of my favorite professors was somebody named Burke Marshall. He's since passed away. He was a civil rights icon. He was a deputy attorney general under Kennedy. He told stories to us of having to be smuggled into Alabama during segregation. They would stuff him in a trunk of a car to get him to the courthouse because, in the middle of rioting, he was there in the 60s in the middle of civil rights and, brought about the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, litigated all the most important legislation at the time. So this was someone, I was a young, law student. He was like a god to me, and I wanted to be a civil rights lawyer. That's what I wanted to be. And he said, Gina, if you want to change the world, you should not be a lawyer. I was like, thanks, Burke. I'm $70,000 into this degree. You can't give me any better advice than that. And he said, no, that's not where the fight is. He said, that's where the fight was, in his estimation, in the 60s and 70s. He said, where the fight is now to bring about change and bring about equality is in state legislatures all around the country. Because if you think about it, and that's my pitch to you guys, to think about getting involved in politics on a very local level. City halls, school committees, town councils, city councils, mayor's offices, state legislatures, governor's offices. That is where the rubber is hitting the road. It's where the rubber is hitting the road on these issues of voting, gerrymandering, but frankly everything else that I think you care about and should care about. And Burke's point was, you may have equal protection under the law, but if inner city schools are woefully underfunded, is that really equality? Well, who makes those decisions about funding? It's governors and state legislatures. You may have equal protection, but if you don't have funding for clean water in urban communities, well, is that really equality? Equality of opportunity? No. Who makes those decisions? No, that's what I do every day. Since I've been governor, we have brought about funding for all-day kindergarten in every school district in Rhode Island. We've tripled the number of pre-K classrooms in Rhode Island. Last year we brought about tuition-free community college. Every high school student in Rhode Island graduates from high school, we got you covered for community college. 2 years tuition-free. All of these things are happening in state, or not happening, in state houses around this country. And so, I guess I'll end, and we're going to have a few questions, urging you to think about that. About thinking about, and by the way, I think that's how we get this democracy back on track. From the bottom up. Engagement, neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city, state by state, people getting involved. Voting, advocating, legislating, and that's how we're gonna, reconnect citizens to one another, reconnect citizens to their government, convince people that it matters who they vote for. You know why a lot of people don't vote? Because they don't think it matters who's in office. They think nobody's listening, the playing field isn't level, so it doesn't matter who's in office. So the burden on people like me is to produce results, let people know we care, we're listening, and we're going to make this a better place for you. And then people will develop more trust, become more active citizens, and over time, I think, heal some of the wounds that we're struggling with now in this time of incredible division. So I will end where I began by applauding you guys. I am deeply impressed. I have to say, when I was invited, and then I saw that it was the first sunny day above 65 degrees, and this event was at 5 o'clock on a Friday, I had, told myself it was okay if Mark and I were just here chatting. So the fact that there are so many of you here I'm going to go home deeply fortified and inspired. And I hope that some of you will stay in touch with me, will get in touch with me. Where's Sam Marulo? Sam, where did you go here, undergrad?
Dartmouth.
Oh. Okay. So anyway, he went to Dartmouth, he worked at McKinsey, then he came to work for me for 2 years as governor. He did incredible work with me around the opioid overdose crisis, saving lives. His work has led to hundreds of lives being saved, and now he's here at Yale Law School. So this is an open invitation for any one of you for a summer job or after you graduate, stay in touch with me, because I'm always on the lookout for young talent, and the fact that you're this engaged tells me you have a great future, and all of our future is brighter because of you. So, thank you.
Great, so my system was forward. Great, so I have some questions for these club members. First question, do you think it's the responsibility of the government to register voters? And how does the evidence
I think it's the responsibility of the government to have, fair elections, easy voting, reduce obstacles to voting. We want, it's the precious right we have in democracy, and we shouldn't, like I oppose ID check. We have it in Ireland, I oppose it. We want to, reduce the barriers to voting, not erect barriers to voting. The other thing is, last year in my budget submission, I included money in the budget for new voting equipment. That is absolutely the job of our basic infrastructure to make sure we have open, fair, accurate elections. It's too soon to tell whether our online voter registration, I don't know. I'll figure out in November. We're rolling it out right now, and we'll see if we're going to live together.
Next question, you seem to be impact of lives. Do you think the recent growth in that is one that really translates to higher voter rates? And how do you think you should conduct the
I should ask you that, because you're a millennial, I'm not late. I hope so. I would say this. Since President Trump has been in office, I have led a number of protests and marches in Rebecca. Women's March, the March in DACA, students. The biggest one, by number and energy and passion by far, was the March for Our Lives in Police. And that tells me your generation is impatient in a good way, demanding change, and I hope that that is sustained and translates into greater voting and engagement. I will say this as a thought for you. It isn't enough to just march. We have to win elections. Marching is important, advocating is important, motivating is important, organizing is important. It's all a part of democracy, and big things don't happen without it. You need to vote. You need to stand for election. You need to campaign. You need to win elections. Elections have consequences in case there comes. So I really hope and pray that the excitement does translate into change development.
And the last question we can ask, so every week we have policy debates. One of the discussions we had was should voting be ordered to be 60? Do you have any thoughts on that, how that will turn out?
I would say I don't have a firm opinion of that. It's something that I would be open to. I don't know if it would increase turnout necessarily. I think the way
know how to access information about their policymakers, especially at the local level. There's insufficient information about them, their policies, what they stand for, especially in really small towns.
Yeah, that is true. You know, for our, you know, at a certain level,